What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Auto Auction Rebuilds. We're back with a story time. It's an update for the little $2,000 Kia that didn't come with a title. But before we get into the Kia, I want to pull this out, and I do want to bring the Kia into the garage. This thing is beautiful. I'm actually going to drive this home tonight. It's been a long time since I've driven it, so the temperature in here is absolutely crazy. 72 degrees. 72 degrees, and I've got my little unit set on 68, so I mean, they're doing a good job considering we are talking about the doors all the way on this side of the shop. Those mini splits have been a lifesaver for this shop. We're gonna start this old girl up, pull her out. There we go. Turn on the headlights. Oh, I love this car. I have really missed driving it. So yesterday, I drove my E550 convertible home, and today I've decided I'm going to drive the 1940 Chevy back to the house, just because it's been so long. I've got some cars for sale. The E-Class convertible, the Mitsubishi i-MiEV, and the S550 are all up for sale. Let's pull this in the driveway. Oh man, look at my windshield frosting up. Wow. It's so cold in the shop and so warm out here. My windshield's literally frosting up. That is crazy. All right. Just a thing of absolute beauty right here. And that sound. I'm telling you, I don't know about you, but I could listen to this thing purr all day. Unfortunately, it's getting a little dark on me. I've been out here working all day for the last 2 days. Look at the headlights. They're frosting up too. Is that on the... That's on the outside. Look. Look. That's all condensation on the outside from how cold the shop is and how hot it is out here. All right. This video is not about the 1940. I have to enjoy this while I can. My goodness, it's frosting up in here too. Look at this. Wow. I'm gonna roll these windows down just to let a little bit of heat in here. Good Lord. Everything, the whole car is doing it. Anyway, the video is not about this car, but I have to enjoy this while I can because it's going to be going down the road. Unfortunately, here in the very near future, I really hate the idea of getting rid of it. It's a beautiful car and I really enjoy it, but I rarely ever get to drive it. It spends most of its time in the garage and it's tying up $30,000 of my money. So that brings us to the little Kia. I don't even remember what year this car is. I keep thinking it's a 2014 or 2016. I have no idea. We'll find out real quick. This grass, I've got to get this taken care of this weekend. It is a 7 of 13, so it is a 2013 Kia Forte EX. Fires right up. Runs absolutely great. Great little car. Absolutely great little car. Unfortunately, I still don't have a title. So let's pull the old girl into the garage here. Man, it really is a solid running little car. It needs a good cleaning. Unfortunately, I already paid to have it detailed once, and it did not come out the best. It's definitely better than it was, but it's not very good, especially on the outside. So anyway, no title, but there's an update to the situation, and I wanted to share it with you because I told you guys I was going to keep you up to date as things progress with this car, and it's had to have been 2 months or so now, and I still don't have a title, but at least I've got an update. Now, just in case you're not familiar with the story on this car, I picked this up from a local auto auction. That's all I'm going to say. I got it from a local auto auction, a salvage auto auction, and I got it for $2,000. I thought, absolutely insane deal. This was actually in one of my walk-around videos. You might have seen it. And then I did another couple videos on it where I picked it up, got it here, found out that it didn't run very well. It had a severe lack of power, funny smell, weird squealing noises coming out of the engine bay. I mean, it was crazy. And it turned out, after I did spark plugs and I took the belt off, and it still didn't fix it, and I got concerned that there was motor damage, you guys come in and said, hey, check the catalytic converter because it could be plugged up. And what you're hearing is, if you know anything about woodwind instruments like a saxophone or a clarinet, they have a reed. And when you put air pressure between the reed, it creates this vibration, which is what makes the sounds coming out of the instruments. Well, that's essentially what happened here. The exhaust manifold gasket turned into a reed. And when pressure built up, it vibrated on the exhaust manifold gasket and pushed its way out, making a horrible squealing noise. That's all it was. We fixed it for literally nothing. I put a new set of plugs in it. I think I put an air filter in it. And so far, that is all I've done, other than having a detail done that, as I said, didn't turn out the way I was hoping. Aside from that original issue, the car's got good tires. It is a clean title. It's got 130,000 miles on it. And I thought, man, I got it for $2,000. This is an easy $6,000 car all day long. Well, that was until 30 days had gone by and I hadn't received my title. And that is where the story kind of falls apart for me, because I've got money invested in this car. Granted, it's not a whole lot, but I do have money tied up in this car, and now I can't do anything with it. I've had a lot of people say, well, you can just file for a lost title. Just go get a title from the tag agency. Just, you know, it's from what a lot of people on YouTube have said, it's super easy to go get a title for this car that doesn't have one, except it's not. It is not. Believe me, if it was as simple as me walking into a tag agent, I am friends with a lady that owns a tag agency out here. So believe me, if there was anything legal that could be done, I would have already done it. Now, there are a couple other ways that I could obtain a title if I wanted to take those steps and go that direction. Number one, I've done a lot of research into this. Number one is a bonded title. It sounds bad, but it's not. It actually doesn't affect the title of the car at all. But I'd have to basically do some paperwork, go to court, and get a judge to grant me a title for the vehicle. With the judge's approval, I could then go to a tag agency and get a title. It takes quite a bit of time to do that, and it costs money. But it can be done, but only if the judge signs off on it. And that's a big if. The next process is called a Title 42, basically an abandonment lien or a mechanic's lien. That is tricky because I can do those myself. That's not a problem. It doesn't cost a lot of money, but there's some paperwork involved that needs to be done. And that's where it is tricky. For a mechanic's lien, I would need the signature of somebody that authorized me to do the work on the car, and they have to be the owner of the car as well. Well, I don't have that, so even though I put money into it, I cannot legally go through a Title 42 process for a mechanic's lien. The next lien that I can file is an abandonment lien, and again, this is a really gray area that I don't want to tread into, because I could be filing false paperwork with the government here in Oklahoma, and obviously, from a legal standpoint, that's a really bad idea. I could lose my dealer's license. I could go to jail. Filing an abandonment lien means that somebody abandoned the car on my property. Well, that's not exactly true, now is it? They did not, whoever owns this car, I don't even know who it is, but whoever owns it did not abandon it on my property. I bought the car and I was not provided a title. Therefore, that makes this car ineligible for a Title 42 as far as me filing one is concerned. I cannot do it, which pretty much leaves me out of options. But, and there's always a but, but thankfully, after going round and round with the auto auction, They agreed to file a Title 42 on my behalf, not as me, but for me, because they are legally obligated to provide me a title within 30 days. If they do not, and they obviously didn't, I can do a few things. Number one, I can contact the Secretary of State's office. I can file a complaint with them regarding this auction not providing me a free and clear title to a vehicle that was guaranteed to have one. Next, I can file a complaint with the Used Motor Vehicle and Parts Commission, and they too will start an investigation into this. If it's found that they did not provide the title like they should have, and they didn't because they don't even have the title, at that point, they can be fined, and they will be forced to give me my money back, and I can give the car back. Now, that's a whole process of filing the complaints, having to go through these little interviews, talking to people on the phone. I don't want to get the auction in trouble. That's not my goal. I don't want to cause any problems. I just want my title. I want what I was promised and nothing more. I don't expect anything else, and I sure don't want to cause problems for these people. So I decided that's not the way I want to go. But finally, after complaining it took a lot of complaining, and honestly, I'm very disappointed that I had to go through so much to even hope to get any type of resolution. It was as if nobody was taking me seriously. Nobody seemed to care that I was stuck with a car that I have time and money, labor invested into. Nobody seemed to care, and that really pissed me off because I do a lot of business with this company. I've done a lot of promoting this company. So to be treated like that when they screwed up, well, it was definitely not expected. So obviously everybody makes mistakes and accidents happen. I'm very forgiving. It's not like the first time something goes wrong, I run out and make a YouTube video or go filing complaints with people that could get people in trouble. I don't do that. I try to take care of things myself. I like to resolve things in-house, and I don't expect anybody to go out of their way or jump through hoops to do something that you shouldn't have already done. Like, all I want is what was promised to me. So finally, unfortunately, I had to, I don't want to say threaten, but I had to resort to sending an email to a few people, including a regional manager, saying, hey, if somebody doesn't get with me on this and get this resolved, I'm going to take this to another level. And that email worked because suddenly I started getting people talking to me. Suddenly people were responding to me. I sent emails and was just completely ignored. And finally I was getting some results. So thankfully I didn't have to go to that next level. And the branch manager said that there are two options they can do for me. The people that own this Kia Forte are not responding. They were responding. They got paid for the car apparently, but they're no longer responding to the auction in regards to all they have to do. The owner of this car, or should I say the previous owner of this car, all they have to do is go to the local tag agency and apply for a duplicate title, or they don't even have to do that. The auto auction said, we will send you a power of attorney form. All they have to do is sign the form, and the auction can then get a duplicate title for me. It is that simple, and it takes literally no time. They offer to overnight the power of attorney form, and they could have me a title within a couple weeks. Well, unfortunately, the people that own the car ghosted the auction. They decided, yeah, we're not going to do anything. We got paid, and technically, the scary part is they got paid, but they still own the car. So legally, they could come and take it, and it would be a court battle. That's what would happen. I doubt there's anything legally that could be done. It would have to go through the courts, which is kind of scary because this is my money and my labor tied up in this car. So here's what the auction said they could do for me. They are going to file, again, a Title 42 in the state of Oklahoma, which means this car was abandoned on their property. It was given to them to sell. They did not come and pick up the car. They did not provide the title for the car. Therefore, the car is technically abandoned. This keeps me out of any gray areas. I'm not signing. I'm not doing any of this. This is all being done by the auction in an attempt to obtain a title. And even this does not guarantee a title. Most of the time, this works to get a title. Unfortunately, there are some times that it falls through the cracks and the state does not approve it. So this does not guarantee that a title is coming for this car. And on top of that, the process takes approximately 8 weeks start to finish. And I'm about 4 weeks into it. So there's still another month to go before I even find out if there's going to be an approved Title 42 for this car. And even then, I don't get a title, I get a stack of paperwork. And then I have to take that to the tag agency with the car for a VIN inspection, and then they can turn that into a title a couple of weeks later. So we're looking at least another month and a half of me sitting here with this car that otherwise is ready to sell. It's ready to go down the road, and I can't do anything with it. So the problem I had with them buying the car back was very simple. If they buy the car back for me, I get my money back. Now I'm into this car with fees and everything about $2,500. So I get my $2,500 back, but the problem that I have with that is I have money, time, labor tied up into this car, and I don't get that back. When I bought the car, it was broken. Now the car is fixed. So basically, I get my money back, and the auction gets a car that was once broken but now fixed and worth even more money because there's nothing wrong with it. I don't get the money back for changing the spark plugs, for changing the air filter, for diagnosing and repairing the vehicle at all. I get nothing. I just get my money back. And that's where I got caught up in a situation where I didn't really know what to do. Sure, I could get my $2,500 back, but the car is worth far more than that. And what about the time and money that I spent on it? I don't get that back at all. And that is something I just couldn't live with. Now, I'll be the first to admit that it's not like I drive this car very often. I did actually take it home. I finally drove it home and I ran a bunch of errands with it just to verify that the car is running like it's supposed to. And it is. It gets great fuel economy. It runs and drives perfect. There's not even any rattles or creaks or squeaks. Nothing. It runs and drives great and gets excellent fuel economy. And I know that this car could make somebody a wonderful commuter. I was just not okay with letting it go fixed and collecting my $2,500. I couldn't do that. So stay tuned. There's going to have to be another update video, hopefully in another month, when I'm hopeful that I get my title paperwork. As long as they hand me that paperwork, it's good to go. It's gold. So in about another 4 weeks or so, we'll come back, and as long as we've got a good title for this, I'll get this thing properly cleaned up again. I'll probably go ahead and replace this. This looks real trashy. I think it'd be worth it to replace that, clean this car up. I think the one on the back is peeling too. We'll get that cleaned up. Yeah, that one's peeling too. It just looks trashy, you know. Let's go ahead and clean that stuff up, and then the car can go down the road. Although, I almost hate to sell it. I'm probably going to start driving it again. It's been sitting for quite a while. I mean, this car has just been sitting almost the entire time that I've had it. But it needs to be properly cleaned, and I know I could sell it and definitely make a profit. There's no way I will not make a profit on this car. But at the same time, it's such a cheap, reliable, and in my opinion, a good-looking little car. I almost don't want to sell it. I almost rather keep it for myself. But ultimately, we all know that I'm going to sell it because I don't keep anything. Now, before we get out of here, I'm going to show you why I'm upset with paying almost $200 to have this car detailed. It definitely didn't come out like I was hoping. Like I said, it looks better than it did in some areas, and in others it looks worse. Right there, I don't know how well you can see it. Boy, that comes out real weird looking. There it goes. Spots all over the seats there. And it gets worse. The chemicals that were used in the back, well, let's just say it left behind some residue that I'm not very happy with. Right there. Look at all of that staining. That actually was not there before it was detailed. So the chemicals got in here and were left behind and dried and left staining all over. Here's another thing that really upset me. Look at all the dirt and debris in here. Now, I paid good money to have this detailed. And as you can see, this was not cleaned at all. And I don't know how well you can see through the back window, but there's debris all over the package tray back here, everywhere. It was not cleaned at all. And when you're paying $200 for a detail, You know, and that wasn't for like a wax and a polish. I wasn't trying to get the car, you know, coated or anything. This was just a detail. I just wanted it to look right and smell good because I was really hopeful that this thing would be going down the road to a new owner. The interesting thing is on this side, all of this did get clean. See? Look how clean all this is. So they did one side of the car and they did not do the other side of the car. Look at this. It's relatively clean back here in comparison to the other side. It just looks so bad, guys. I mean, that just looks, yeah. And those seats, man, it's even stained up over here too. Like, just, it really sucks. I bought them dinner. I even worked on their car. I did some diagnosing because their car is having some problems, and it was really late at night when we were finally getting out of here, and I was ready to go home, but you know, they were like, hey, could you check this car out for us? It's giving us some problems, making these funny noises. And yeah, man, you know, I brought the thing in here on the lift, got up in the air, and I told them, you know, hey, this is what's wrong with it. And I told them, you know, you're going to need some parts. And I tried to really do right by them. And I feel kind of taken advantage of here. Take a look at the wheels. And I haven't driven this car other than up and down the road since this thing was detailed. And I mean, look at this. It's absolutely filthy. And there's just no excuse for work like that. You know, I obviously tipped very well. I always do. I am always a good tipper. And I think that when you do that, people provide you a good service. Hopefully better than others. But in this case, I don't know about that. This car really, I hate to say it, but it got half-assed. It got half-assed. You can come over here and look at the discoloration. You know what I mean? Like, come on. Really? I'm a good customer. Or I was a good customer. I am no longer a customer. So it is what it is. This has happened a few times. This isn't the first time, which is why I'm saying something about it now. I have seen corners being cut many times, and I've left it alone. And, you know, good people thought maybe occasionally they might overlook something here and there, and that's fine. But like when you're talking about detailing, I mean, it's called detailing for a reason, right? Attention to detail. So, you know, I can understand here and there maybe occasionally, but you're talking about professional detailers. This is just, I'm not a professional detailer. I would never have missed doing the wheels. And I would never have missed the other half of the door jambs on the car. It's detailing. Attention to detail is absolutely necessary when you're going to detail a car. So basically, at the end of the day, this car has just kind of been a headache, which is really sad. It's no fault of the cars. The car itself is great. It's just everything involving this car has been, it's like pulling teeth. I don't know what the deal is, but hopefully it all gets resolved soon. Stay tuned. I will definitely be doing another update video on the Kia, and I'll probably have to come out here and try to clean the thing up myself, or maybe I'll send it to Brian at the Auto Spa and let him do it, because he will absolutely do it right the first time. I've never had a car from the Auto Spa that I had to turn around and take back because he missed something. Not ever. I can't tell you how many times I've had issues, something that I've had to go and correct myself later on after paying for the detail and the tip. And I will not do business like that. So anyway, with that, I think I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to take that 1940 Chevrolet and I'm going to go cruising home with it. I'm going to enjoy it. Tomorrow I'm going to probably wash it up, give it a nice bath, because Here soon, shortly, I do believe it'll be time to sell that, the BMW and the Maserati. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know I'm long-winded. You can just say that I enjoy hearing myself talk. All right, it's not true, but that's what some people say. I appreciate each and everyone who takes the time to watch this video, and hopefully you're at least somewhat entertained because of my misery. If you enjoyed the content, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're not currently subscribed, and until next time, stay safe out there, everybody. I look forward to seeing you all again very soon in the next one.